Hey y'all, I'm Hope. Welcome to another weekend vlog. I'm really excited for this weekend for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's Easter weekend, which means that today is actually Friday, but because Good Friday, the university is closed, so I have a 3-day weekend, which is really great. It was a really hectic week, so I am glad to have a 3-day weekend. I'm also, at some point this weekend, planning to go to my local used bookstore and look for a few things, because I have already had the book list listed for one of my classes for next semester, and it has a ton of books on it, including a nearly 800-page novel. So I'm gonna go see if I can get most of them, or at least some of them, from my local used bookstore and start reading them over the summer so that I have a little bit more time once I get into next semester where I can like read the theory, focus on that, and then kind of skim the books back for whatever I need for class. So I think I'm going to see if I can find at least some of them there, and then I'm going to order the rest probably from Amazon, because there are 11 books total for this class, and 5 of them are theory books that are just going to be expensive, so I'm going to try and get the novels as inexpensively as I can, because that's a lot of book. So I'm going to do that at some point this weekend. And then I also have got a little bit of reading to do for classes for next week. I'm going to be reading some poetry by Christina Rossetti. I've got to read Goblin Market, and then several of her other poems, although I think those are all shorter, it looked like. So I've got quite a bit of Christina Rossetti to read. And then I've also got to read The Prioress's Tale for my Chaucer class. So that's kind of the school stuff I'm going to be working on. And beyond that, I am going to try and take some time to rest this weekend, because the week was really hectic. I did get a paper turned in though. I finished my kind of 20-page Frankenstein paper. My hair is doing a very weird thing. Oh well. I finished my 20-page Frankenstein paper, turned it in, so I'm waiting on feedback for that. But now that that's done, I've got to start focusing on the other project I need to work on, because we have a proposal due next week, which is not real long. It's like 1 page, and then we have to have some sources that we've pulled and said, okay, I think this is going to be useful in this way for my paper. So nothing too strenuous, but I want to spend some time this weekend kind of brainstorming what that project is going to be, because I have a couple of ideas, but I need to start pulling some research and seeing what's feasible. So that's kind of the stuff I have to do. Well, I don't have to go to the bookstore. I'm going to go to the bookstore and see if I can pick up the books that I need for the one class. And then beyond that, I do have some reading that I'm going to try and do that's not school related. So first of all, I'm still reading Woman Eating by Claire Kohda, which I have not read at all lately because I just haven't had the time. That paper was really taking up all of my mental energy for the last week, so that's really been where my brain's been at in the last little while. So I'm going to try and finish Woman Eating, or at least make a dent in it. And then I'm also reading A Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout, because I've been reading this whole series as part of my little cursed books club with my friends, and so this is the next book I needed to read to continue that series. And yeah, so I have a 700-page fantasy book I need to get to. This is like the 4th or maybe 5th time I've checked it out from the library so far this year, and I have yet to actually read it, so it feels like maybe I should actually read it now. And I did actually start it this time, so I think like 10 pages in at most. I've only just started it because last week has just been so hectic with school stuff, but I'm gonna try and make a dent in that as well. So that's kind of the plan for the weekend. I don't know what else I might do. The other reason I'm excited this weekend is that I just figured out one of my 2 committee co-directors for my thesis project, because I'm doing a 2-paper thesis, which means that I need to have a co-director, like a director for each paper. And the one paper I've already got figured out is one that I wrote for a class last semester, and the professor has agreed to work with me to expand it into a thesis. So one of my 2 papers is going to be that, and I just met with her yesterday, and it was a really great meeting, really productive. I feel like I have a sense of what I need to be doing now, and I'm feeling really relieved and like excited to move forward on that, because it's a paper I really enjoyed working on, so I'm looking forward to that. But this does mean that I've freed myself up a little bit of mental time and mental space. It's all progress. It's all forward movement, and I'm feeling really relieved to have that part figured out. It also buys me some time to kind of figure out what my other thesis paper is going to be, because that one's going to be original scholarship. So it gives me some time to kind of figure out what that's going to be and figure out who I need to talk to about potentially being my director for that paper. So yeah, it's been a good week. It's been a stressful one, but everything is good. It's all movement towards getting through the semester and figuring out my thesis. So it's all good stuff. Well, it's several hours later. I think it was about noon when I updated you guys last, and it is now like 6 o'clock at night, I finished reading all the Rossetti stuff I needed to read, and in fact, rather than just reading the poems I needed to read, I read the whole book. So I read the entirety of Goblin Market and Other Poems by Christina Rossetti, and I just thought it was fine. I'm not really a poetry person, so I'm never a good person to ask about opinions on poetry, but I feel like this was just fine. It was tons of nature imagery, lots of like devotional poetry, and I just don't think it's gonna stick with me. But it wasn't bad. It was like perfectly fine read. There were a few poems that I did really like. I just think this isn't really gonna stick with me beyond the next couple of weeks. So anyway, I have read that now, and I can mark that off of my library list, my personal library list. It's finally read, so that's good. And I also read a couple of biographies of Christina Rossetti, which I needed to read for class. So all of that's done. I know I need to finish editing tomorrow's video, get the thumbnail made for that and all that good stuff. And then I think this evening I'm gonna play Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1 with a friend of mine, because we started it a while back and we have not gotten a chance to finish it. But probably won't finish it tonight. I think we have a ton of it left, but I'm gonna go ahead and make some progress because it is very fun. I really like the new version of Sherlock in Chapter 1, and I'm looking forward to the release of the Frogwares next game, The Awakened, which is on Tuesday. And that one has the same version of Sherlock in it, so I kind of want to finish Chapter 1 before I play the remake. And I'm excited about it because The Awakened is one of my favorite of their old games, so super excited about that. But for now I need to get some video editing done, and then I can play video games. Happy Saturday. It is still super gray outside. It rained like all day yesterday. It's still really gray today, but today is gonna be a good day. I think so anyway. Last night I ended up just playing Chapter 1 for a long time with my friend. We got I got my video edited for today, and then we played Chapter 1, and it was one of those where like we didn't realize how much time was passing, except that I kept having to restart SharePlay because it makes you restart it like every hour. And so every hour we're going, what do you mean it's been another hour? But we played a really interesting case yesterday. Actually, we played 2 cases. One of them was the side quest and one was like the main story, and we played both of those. They were really interesting. I really enjoyed both of them. One of them has to do with how Sherlock became interested in violin, like how he started playing the violin. And then there's another one that has this interesting ending where instead of the game being like, okay, who killed this person or who did the crime and why and how, the game is actually like, that's irrelevant. We know who did it, but that's not what's important here. What's important is how are you going to move forward? And I thought that was a really interesting decision to have at the end of that case. So I really enjoyed that. And I'm really liking Chapter 1. But today, what's the plan? I'm very tired. It was like 3 in the morning when I went to bed. First of all, my mom and I are gonna make some breakfast. We got some good bagels yesterday. So we're gonna make some like egg sandwiches on bagels, and that's gonna be really good. Very excited about that, and also very hungry, so. And then I need to start working on my proposal for my project for my other class. So I finished one of my long papers, and I've got to work on the proposal for the other one. I think this paper isn't quite as long, so that's interesting. I think it's like 12 to 15 pages, or at least that's what the syllabus says. I need to make sure there isn't an assignment sheet somewhere with different information, because I feel like there was at one point. So I need to double check on that, but I've got to figure out kind of my proposal for that. What's my topic going to be? My kind of backup topic is that I want to talk about, or my backup topic, wow, I'm struggling to speak this morning, is about chivalry in The Knight's Tale, and how one of the characters, I think there's an unexpected character who most exemplifies chivalry, so I kind of want to talk about that. If I do that for my backup project, but then my main ideas are more in terms of like game studies, because I'm really interested in that. And I talked to the professor a couple of weeks ago, and she had mentioned that, you know, I should brainstorm some ideas because she knew I was interested in game studies, and I should brainstorm some ideas and come back to her and talk to her about whatever I've come up with and see if we can figure out a way to make one of those work. And then she ended up being out for 2 weeks, so I've not had a chance to talk to her about it. And beyond that, with my Frankenstein paper I was writing, I just didn't have time to think about it either, so I was really struggling. But I'm done with the Frankenstein paper for now. I do have to go back and shorten it into a conference length paper, but I'm kind of taking a step away from that for the moment, and I'm going to work on coming up with some ideas today, seeing what research I can find, what seems most feasible, and then I will figure things out from there. But that's the plan for today, is I'm gonna see if I can pull together some ideas, find some research that might back them up, and start working on that proposal. And I'm probably gonna email her at the beginning of the week and just be like, hey, so here's my thought. I do have a backup plan, but I just wanna like double check on this. So that is the plan for now. And first of all, I've gotta get food. But I think that that's gonna be a relatively doable task for today. I may also finally today go to the bookstore. It's gonna kind of depend on what the weather is like after breakfast, but I might go and see if I can pick up some of the books for my class for next semester, because it'll be cheaper to probably to get them at the used bookstore than to order them. And then I'm just gonna order whatever's remaining and try to read those over the summer, I think, to give myself a head start, since I know I'm also gonna be working on my first thesis paper over the summer, and then I'm gonna need to be working on my other one kind of in the fall. So that's the plan, and I'm gonna go get some food and get started with my day. Happy Easter. I completely forgot to update it all yesterday, but that's okay. I didn't do very much. What I did do was I finished the readings I needed to do for my class on Thursday. So I read The Prioress's Tale from the Canterbury Tales, and please bear with me, I'm opening windows. I read that tale, and I read a couple of articles on like different ways to read it. Really interesting, but The Prioress's Tale is really unpleasant to read. If you've not read it before, it's very anti-Semitic, and so it's a very dark story, but it's interesting in that like it's coming from the prioress who like runs an abbey, and she's described as being this kind of very gentle person who can't stand like animals being in pain. And then she proceeds to tell what is like one of the darkest, most horrific tales in the Canterbury Tales, which is really interesting but also really unpleasant to read. So yeah, read that, read the articles, done with that for Thursday, which means that the next few days I can spend kind of using my time to figure out the project I'm doing for my Chaucer class, because I have to turn in a one-page, like, this is what I'm gonna do, kind of a proposal paper and an annotated bibliography with some stuff that I'm gonna use. So that's what I'm gonna work on today, kind of figuring out what my topic is gonna be and pulling together some resources for that. And then probably end up playing more chapter 1, because that's what I did yesterday after I finished reading The Prioress's Tale. It took me a while to get through all of that because some of the reading was really dense. So spent the evening once again playing chapter 1 with a friend of mine. Tons of fun. We stayed up way too late once again, but we are very close to the end of the game, and now we're having to like sidetrack and like go off and do all of the side quests because we've forgotten to do most of them. We went just straight through the main quest, and it's about the same length as the prior Sherlock Holmes games, which means it's like 4 or 5 cases. So we're like right at the very end, and now we've got to go back and like do all the side stuff because there's still a bunch of stuff we haven't unlocked yet. So anyway, playing chapter 1 still and really loving it. That's kind of my current, like, when I get stuff done, this is what I treat myself to game. So yeah, that's pretty much all I did yesterday. Worked on homework, played some more chapter 1, and today I'm gonna work on that project. My eyes are itching because I forgot to take my allergy medicine last night, but you know, it's fine. I'm gonna try and work on that project. So that's gonna be my main thing today. May play more chapter 1 later if I get that done, or I may read something. I'm really not sure yet. It's kind of gonna depend on what all I accomplish today. The weather is nicer, so I may go ahead and do my trip to the bookstore today. I would really like to. I've been stuck in my house a lot lately, so it'd be nice to get out for a little bit, but we'll see. First I gotta get some food and kind of start thinking through what my project is gonna be. So I'll check in with you guys later. Hopefully for real this time, because I think I've said that every day and then like not checked in. So fingers crossed to actually do something interesting today. Almost knocked the camera over. Okay, so I got some breakfast, and then I actually got some book mail. I need to back up a little bit so I'm in screen, in frame. I got some book mail. I have no idea what this is. I think this might be my book that I wanted to give away, because I actually won the giveaway for the Roll of Reads readathon that a book fiend named Mel hosted, and that was really cool. I really enjoyed the readathon, and I had no expectation that I might win that. Like, I was completely shocked. So anyway, I think that might be what came today. I have a long thread hanging off my shirt. That's exciting. And I thought I would open my book mail. Also, my partner is on a call right down here because I was on a call with him and he wants to know what the book is too. He was like, you should open it while you're on a call with me. So I was like, okay, but I want to film it too. So anyway, Let me grab the package. I gotta grab the package from the floor, and then we're gonna open it. Trying not to like show my address. The cats are very interested in the packaging. Oh, there it is. Gotta get the gift note that came in here with it. Let's see. Nope, that's the thank you note scan. That's the receipt. There's a gift note in here with it, yes. Congratulations on winning the giveaway and thanks for participating in this readathon. I haven't read this one, but I've heard great things. Signed, Mel, from a book fiend named Mel. So, oh, okay. This is The Screaming Staircase by Jonathan Stroud, which is the first book in the Lockwood & Co. Please, sir, don't do it. I see you trying to jump up here. Oh, it's being a chaos boy. First book in this, like, I think it's a mystery series, but it's about some, yeah, ghostly criminal cases. It's a, like, urban fantasy mystery series. This sounds like a lot of fun. I'm really excited to read this. I've also heard some really good things about this, and I think my library also has the audiobooks, so I could probably like listen to the audiobook while I'm reading it, which would be cool. I'm gonna have to stop now though because my cat's on the table and also my battery is flashing at me. It's about to die. So anyway, thank you to a book fiend named Mel, and I'm really excited that I won the giveaway. This was really cool. And Elvin says hello. Well, it's a little bit later and I got home a little bit ago from going to a local bookstore with my mom. Actually the used bookstore, not my usual indie that I like to go to. But I wanted to go see if they had any of the books that I need for one of my classes for next semester. Because I have a class that has 6 books assigned for it. Actually it's 11 books, but 6 of them are novels and the other 5 are theory books. So I wanted to see if I could go ahead and get any of the novels that we needed so that I can read them over the summer. And so went to look, ended up only finding 2 of them, which I found The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead, and then I also found The Years of Rice and Salt, which I'll have a picture here because I don't actually have it with me because it had a little bit of mold on one corner, just like a little bit. It was a really old mass market paperback, and I decided it was worth it because it was only $4 compared to the $10 I was gonna have to spend on a new copy. And so I bought it, and I found an article from the American Library Association on how to deal with that at home, and one of the things that it recommended was like putting the book in a bag and then sticking it in the freezer for a little while and then cleaning it after that. Somehow that makes it easier to clean. I'm gonna trust it, I'm gonna try it, but putting a book in the freezer is definitely like the weirdest thing that I've done today. But yeah, went on just like a little trip, walked around there for maybe an hour at most, and looked. Ultimately found just those 2. I did find a couple of books by one of the authors that I was looking for, but not the one I needed. And then I was actually really surprised because I couldn't find anything by either Emily St. John, my gosh, why is her name so hard today? Emily St. John Mandel or Ruth Ozeki, because I needed Station 11 and A Tale for the Time Being. Couldn't find any books by either author, so I thought that was kind of surprising, but oh well, didn't find them. I'm gonna order the rest of them sometime this summer, and then I will read all of them over the summer while I have some time. Because I'm also gonna be working on one of my theses. I'm writing 2 thesis papers for my program, so they're both like shorter papers than like a standard thesis, but they're like the right length for a like a writing sample for a PhD application, something like that. So the first one I'm gonna be working on over the summer and into the fall, and then I'll be starting on the second one. But I'm gonna try and use any free time I have this summer to get ahead on the reading for that one class, because I know it's gonna be pretty theory heavy based on the description and the 5 theory books that are assigned for it, and I want to buy myself some time so that I'm not quite so stressed when I get to the fall. So anyway, managed to pick up those. Now I am at home hanging out with the cats. Pumpkin is back here hanging out in the window. Right before we left, I spent some time pulling some articles for one of the ideas I have for my project for my Chaucer class that I'm in this semester. I've been trying to come up with what my final project is going to be because I have like a one-page, very brief proposal due for that later this week, and I need to have an annotated bibliography with that. So I've spent some time pulling some articles for one of the ideas that I have, and I'm going to go pull some articles for the other idea I have, and then kind of figure out what's going to be the most feasible for that, and draft an email to my professor, just be like, hey, I want to double check this idea is okay, because I'm bringing in some game study stuff, which she had encouraged me to do, and I've just not had time to meet with her about it. So I want to send her an email and just be like, hey, here's what I'm thinking, and get some feedback on that if I can. So that's kind of the plan for the rest of the afternoon. It was nice to get outside, especially because it's finally sunny again instead of rainy, because it's been very rainy the last couple of days. So it was good to get out of my house for a little bit. So now I'm gonna go get back to work, get some more articles pulled. I don't suspect I'm going to get through reading any of them today, but I will have some things ready and set aside for me to read in the next few days. And most of the stuff I found so far hasn't been terribly long, so I think it'll be pretty doable in the next couple of days leading up to when this thing is due. Hello, it is Monday now. I completely forgot to close out this vlog yesterday, and for most of today, it's almost 6 o'clock tonight. I'm currently working on reading through some articles for a paper I need to write, so thought that I would just take a moment to check back in and let you guys know that nothing else interesting happened yesterday. I pulled together a bunch of research, got back from trip to the bookstore, did a little more research, and then played chapter 1 all evening. So that's pretty much it, and now I'm reading through all the research that I gathered. So all good forward progress, but I feel like this was a very boring weekend. I didn't do a whole lot. Did get some exciting book mail, but yeah, it's just been a pretty uneventful weekend, and hopefully this video wasn't too terribly boring as a result. But if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope that even if it was a very boring weekend, that you still liked this video. And if you did, I hope you consider giving a like, maybe even subscribing to see what comes next. I'm currently posting every Tuesday and Saturday, so there's more content coming soon, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.